Welcome to the ViPer basic training video. This video will take you through the basic steps to set up and manage your events and for printing reports. The video will also touch on some of the options for managing your database and for report customization. When you first start up ViPer, you will get a prompt with options for create a new event, open a today or future event, open a past day event, and cancel. Not all of the buttons will be visible all the time. If there are no today or future events, for example, this button will not appear. These same options are also available from the Events menu at the top of the screen once ViPer has opened. When you create a new event, you will first be asked if it is a match play event. If the event is a match play event, a different set of wizard prompts will open to describe the specific setup information depending on the type of matches, whether it's for standard elimination matches, for round robin match play such as member guest matches, or for cup play matches such as Ryder Cup matches. There is a separate tutorial for match play, and you can find any explanation needed in the user guide. Answering no to the match play prompt will start the process to create a new stroke play event.
You'll then be asked if you want to use the wizard to set up your stroke play event. When you become more familiar with ViPer, you can skip the wizard prompts and manually enter the event setup parameters. But when first learning to use ViPer, the wizard will simplify the event setup process. The wizard will step you through entering a name for your event, starting and ending dates, and there are optional fields for contact information for quick reference if needed. For this event, select stroke play, but note that ViPer supports Stableford and point quota formats. Enter the estimated number of players for the event and number of rounds. It's not necessary to know the exact number of players for an event, as players can easily be added to any event at any time, and unused positions easily deleted. Enter the number of flights, number of players on a team, and whether it's a 9 or 18 hole event. Note that the flights can easily be created later, so you can always just leave this at 1. Select whether the event will be a men only, women only, or a mixed event. ViPer provides a field for adding a text note to the bottom of cart sheet reports, which can be left blank if not used. Select the T or Ts to be used, as ViPer does support multiple T assignments for any event, with some players on the blue T, some players on the white Ts, for example. When the event is a men's only event, only the men's Ts will appear, and when a women's only event, only the women's Ts will appear. You will then be prompted to set up the starting options for the event. Answer yes to proceed. Here you can choose the start type, whether it's a time start, shotgun start, double shotgun start, or there's an option for setting up a reverse shotgun or horseshoe start. For this event, we'll just use a shotgun. Set the starting time for the event, and you will then see a prompt for choosing the starting Ts to use for the shotgun. If this was a time start event, you would see the starting times to be selected. When it is a time start, the time intervals will already be defined, and these can be managed in the system defaults to always use the time intervals for your course. For this sample event, we will set the Ts for a small reverse shotgun. You'll then get a prompt for the type of scoring to be used, with options to enter total scores, or to enter team hole-by-hole scores, or for individual hole-by-hole scoring, with ViPer calculating results based on the format selected. ViPer does support any type of scoring format. Pressing Finish will then set up the event and prompt you as to whether or not you're ready to start entering players. Answering yes to this prompt will open the player team setup screen, which is the main event management screen. You can see that the event setup form has been filled in with all of the wizard prompts. The Player Teams menu item at the top of the screen will also provide access to the Player Team setup screen. From the Player Team setup screen, you will see icons at the top of the form, which each have menu options for managing players, working with handicaps, getting an alpha list, creating and managing flights, working with Ts and times, setting up your pairings, managing teams, and an iCloud icon for accessing scoring interface options. There are also icons to print the grid, undo the last steps taken, and show player counts. The grid icon will switch the player grid view between the across grid and the more traditional spreadsheet downgrid view. And the layout icon provides different column views of the downgrid. Once the player grid is open for the event, you're ready to start adding players, and you can add players either in the across grid or the down grid, and there are many ways to add players. The simplest way to put players in an event is simply click in a cell and type a name. Typing the name and pressing enter will enter that player's name when you're in the down grid and move down to the next row for the next player to be entered. So in this way you can rapidly enter players simply by typing names. ViPer also provides the ability to maintain a database of players. And when you're using the player database utility, you can integrate with handicap associations like GIN to automatically pull all the GIN players into ViPer and to maintain their current handicap indexes with whatever update frequency is being used. All this will happen automatically in the background. So when you're using a database of players, all you've got to do is type a few letters to the last name. When that player's name is highlighted, just pressing enter will add the player with their current index in the grid. You can also import players from either a spreadsheet or CSV file, and when you use this option, a utility will open up to allow you to define which columns are first name, last name, or first name, comma, last name, whatever. Once you've identified a spreadsheet, you can actually save layouts and facilitate the process of importing from spreadsheets. There is a tutorial on the Vision Perfect Support website which will describe how to import players from Excel or CSV files. Once you've added players to an event, if any kind of adjustments need to be made to the teams or groups, the Across Grid will allow you to drag and drop the players into any kind of groupings that you want. So it's simply clicking on a player, dragging him to where you want him to go will actually swap those players. And continuing this process, then you can build the groups in any way that you want. Dragging and dropping within a group also determines cart pairings, as players 1 and 2 are in the same cart and players 3 and 4 are in the same cart. ViPer also provides complete handicap management utilities. So from the handicap icon, you can simply select Calculate Handicaps, and it will automatically calculate the full USGA handicap from the index in the index column. From the handicap menu, selecting Show Handicap Screen will take you to a screen where you can enter any kind of handicap adjustment, whether it's for player adjustments, individual player adjustments, or a handicap adjustment that's applied to a team. And you'll also see that there is a Adjust for Slope checkbox, which is always checked by default, but that can be unchecked to not apply any kind of a slope adjustment. So in the case where event coordinator has sent you full handicaps to be used, you should still put them in the index column, because you can always turn off Adjust for Slope. Then when the calculation is made, it'll just move the whatever's in the index column over to the adjusted handicap column to be used for the event. From the handicap management screen, you can change the handicap to apply to a team and then create an adjustment for a team, such as a suggested USGA scramble format, which would be 20% of the A player, 15% of the B, 10% of the C, and 5% of the D player. Those can be rounded to 0, 1, or 2 decimals. And returning to the handicap screen, you can then calculate handicaps again, and it will calculate the team handicap. Once you have your players added to the event and arranged in the groups as you want them, you are ready to start printing reports. So from the Reports menu, selecting Report Options will open a screen with all of the options for the various types of reports that are available. For example, checking pops on cards would dot the scorecards with the handicap strokes for each individual or for the team. The scorecard reports include descriptor lines, so you can add scorecard descriptors to be added to the bottom of the scorecard, bottom rows of the scorecard. After entering descriptors, clicking Save Descriptors will save those descriptors to be ready to print on the reports. You can also select a logo for the event, which will put logos, a standard logo on most of the reports. And using this utility, you need to select a bitmap file for the standard report. So you can load, a utility will open a file search utility, pick the logo, and it will drop it into the window. Then it's now ready to print on the report. Once you have the report options set, you can choose the reports that you want to print, and there are many reports, starting reports, card sheet reports, scorecards, proxy signs for closest to pin, long drive. You can print scoreboards on any size paper that you're capable of printing on, then scores and payoff reports, and specialty reports for banners and gift certificates, and many other reports that are available. ViPer also has utilities for building custom reports where you can design your own reports any way that you want using multiple graphics and logos. For this video, we will just be using standard reports. So from the standard report, starting report option, we'll just pick a standard starting report to print, sorted by T's since this is a shotgun event, and you'll see that a starting T report will open with the selected logo. And selecting a standard card sheet report, you can see the logo will also print on that report. When you close card sheet reports or scorecard reports, you'll get a prompt asking if you want to mark these players as having been printed. If you select yes to mark those players as having been printed, then ViPer will start tracking any changes that are made to the event. And if you then go out and make some changes, move players around, or make any kind of an adjustment, the next time you go and select that report to print, it will come up and ask if you want to just print the changes. So it provides a rapid way to deal with any changes that are made to the event. You don't have to scroll through all of the reports to find those ones that you changed. The utility will simply open the only changed reports that need to be reprinted. And for scorecard reports, there are many scorecard report options to choose from, but we'll just select a multiple T card by T for the shotgun. And you can see that the utility has put the pops on the card for the individuals, as well as placing a logo at the top. If you need to make changes to your event, the Across Grid provides some of the most powerful tools for making adjustments. For example, if you needed to add another group to the event, right-clicking on the T column on the row that you want to add a group, you can select Insert a Row here, and a utility will come up and said, do you want to insert the row, and you don't currently have enough T's selected, so it'll open up the T selection screen again where you can select the T. Choosing Finish then will insert the row where you wanted, and you can then add additional players to the event. Similarly, if you have an extra row or extra groups in the event that you don't need, right-clicking on the T, you can choose Delete the Row, or you can highlight rows and select Delete selected rows to remove unused positions from the event. When you're ready to score your event, from the Scores menu, selecting Enter Scores will open the Score Entry screen, and the screen will be formatted based on the type of score entry that you've selected. This format currently is set up for total scores. So entering a score and pressing the Tab key will move down to the next team, ready to enter the next team's score. All score entry screens have a hide scores option so that when a team has been scored, it'll be hidden, narrowing the field of unscored teams, making it easier to find a team for entering their scores. Unchecking the hide scored teams will always show all of the teams, and you can see that the net score was computed automatically for this team. So continuing to enter scores in this manner, net scores will be computed automatically for all of them. If we change the type of score entry to a team whole-by-whole scoring, when we go to the score entry screen, then you'll see that a screen will come up with a single row for entering the whole-by-whole scores for the entire team. And if we change the score entry method to individual whole-by-whole scoring, first of all, you'll get options for how to compute the scores. ViPer in this case knows that it's a 4-person team, so it needs to know how many gross balls that you want to use from the team and how many net balls you want to use from the team for the format to compute team results. There are many other scoring options as well for setting up pro-ams, high school scoring events, or whole-by-whole formats where you can set the ball format to use on a whole-by-whole basis. So when you open the score entry screen for an individual scored hole, you'll see that you can actually move between the players. Each player's name will be shown on the score entry screen to enter the scores for that player. And there's a number of keys to enable you to move around. The U key moves up, D key moves down through the players, and the page up, page down keys will move between the teams, next, previous team, etc. Once you've entered all of the scores for a team, and when you move to the next team, it actually will compute the previous team. So if I unhide the teams, scored teams, and go back to the previous team, you can see now that the format of 2 gross and 2 net has been computed. Once all the scores have been entered, then you can go to the Reports menu and select the Scores reports, and there are many options for the different types of scores that you may want to print. just selecting gross and net scores report to see both gross and net scores on the same report. We'll bring up an option for how you want to sort it. We'll just select sorted by gross, and you can see the results of the event with showing both gross and net scores. This concludes the basic training for ViPer Tournament Manager, but you should know that there are many capabilities of the software, and the easiest way to find out how to do additional things within ViPer is to just using the help menu. You can go to the video train, and it'll take you directly to the web page where there are many videos for different types of functionalities, such as how to do skins games and set up a purse and payout structures. Just selecting any of the videos will then start the video and take you through that process. If you have any questions or need help with any part of the program, you should always call our technical support line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thanks.